I feel immensely blessed to get this opportunity to speak a few lines about Sri Sri Thakur's philosophies and teachings. Today, I'll be speaking a few lines about the philosophy of Sri Sri Thakur, in which I'll be discussing 5 main philosophies. Those are Avatar and Sadguru, Sadguru, Jagat Guru and God, order of spiritual attainments, reconciliation of monastic and dualistic paths, and Jnana Chakra. Now, what is the philosophy of Avatar and Sadguru? Nigamananda Paramahansa never admitted that he was a God incarnate or an avatar, although many of his followers fancied him as one. He explained that an avatar is an exclusive descent of God who had descended onto the earth to destroy the demonic forces and to uphold the spiritual order. He explained that although an avatar does not enlighten or guide people. He wanted to be recognized as a Sadguru, or the perfect spiritual master who had attained his knowledge over a succession of births and deaths. Scriptural evidence shows us that Gautam himself had to pass through a number of cycles of births and deaths before realizing the truth and becoming the Buddha. Now, let's move on to the philosophy of Sadguru, Jagat Guru and God. Nigamananda Paramahansa always said that every disciple should take his guru to be the Jagat Guru or the master of this world, as it is instructed by Sri Krishna too in the Bhagavad Gita. Patanjali's aphorism explains this idea by the most famous saying that by contemplating on the form of one who has no materialistic attachments, concentration of mind is achieved. Nigamananda Paramahansa suggested his disciples to meditate on his physical form so that all the admirable qualities and attributes in him would be automatically transferred into their beings and would fashion their souls. Further, he assured them just because he had, by employing 3 main modes of spiritual practice, that is Paramatma, Brahma and Bhagwan, they will be able to get such an experience that he himself has said that it is his only wish, and he would love to wait for that day to see his wish fulfilled. Now, what is the philosophy of reconciliation of monastic and dualistic pursuits? Well, before understanding the philosophy of this philosophy, we must understand that what is the philosophy of order of spiritual attainments. According to Nigamananda Paramahansa the theory of self-realization requires expanding the individual self to the supreme universal self that can be only achieved by the most competent among the aspirants, those are the sannyasis, by the process of deep analysis and deep meditation. The aspirants are going to feel very much bliss due to the growing love between them and the Guru over the course of time, after they have had the monastic realization of the Supreme as declared by Lord Krishna himself in the Bhagavad Gita. Now, as we have understood that what is the philosophy of the order of spiritual attainments, now we can understand that what is the philosophy of reconciliation of monastic and dualistic pursuits. Unlike many saints who preached a number of doctrines for the realization of God and realization of self, Nigamananda suggested that the realization of oneness of individual self and the supreme universal self should be the one and the true and the highest goal of the human life. For many aspirants, this path is one to achieve their Sadguru or the perfect spiritual master who initiates them, rendering their personal service to him and invoking his grace through prayers, chanting and simple meditation are the chief modes of spiritual practice for them. Nigamananda Paramahansa Dev has said that although everyone can achieve this success, but the true divine ecstasy and love can only be experienced by the most fortunate ones after they have achieved the monastic and dualistic form of the attained of the God. Now, to understand the philosophy of the Jnana Chakra, we must understand the philosophies of the order of spiritual attainments and the reconciliation of the monastic and dualistic pursuits. Now, as we have understood both of them, now we can understand that what is the philosophy of the Jnana Chakra. According to Nigamananda, although the monastic Vedanta philosophy treats the supreme reality in terms of oneness with the individual self and the supreme universal self, it does not necessarily explain the materialistic creation as explained by the Samkhya philosophy. This latter does not treat the supreme reality as well. In the Sanatani religion, there are many philosophies like the Purva Mimamsa, which provide a lot of information about rituals that can help us to attain happiness at a personal and a collective level despite the cycles of birth and death. The Jnana Chakra chart, or the spheres of spiritual cosmology chart, that is represented in a pictorial form by Sri Thakur Nigamananda. He has researched that there are multiple layers of consciousness interwoven inside our microcosm, that is our body, and the macrocosm, that is the universe. And he has also researched the numbers of layers of the microcosm and the macrocosm that can be ultimately achieved by the aspirants. In the Jnana Chakra chart, which is represented in a pictorial form by Sri Thakur Nigamananda, he has put Sri Krishna and Sri Radhe, whom he represented as Guru and Yogamaya,